Okay, so tonight I feel inspired enough to work on the Eico 666 tube tester, and like I say, it kind of works. I can test tubes. I can, match the levers on the roll charts and get it to give me readings, but there's a few things that aren't right with it, and I'm not certain. And on top of that, the roll charts for these, like the one that's in here right now, this is probably complete and total rubbish. They had a problem. They did some dumb things, like where they would put too much or too little voltage for whatever, and it was messed up. And then you would get inaccurate readings. Like, for example, I tested some known weak 12AX7s and they said good, and then you tested a good 12AX7, it was just off the chart. So that's the wrong settings on something like it's all manual, so just getting the correct chart will get me where I gotta go. So let me just show you the one thing that I know doesn't work off the hop. So for the line adjust voltage, I should just be able to turn on the voltage here. And the meter, I know we got a little bit of a kink in our meter line here. But when I press down the line here, it doesn't even feel like it's working. This switch doesn't feel like it's working, but this switch should close, and then this should come up to the middle, and you're supposed to put it, right on the line adjust, put it right dead center. So let's see if we can figure that out first. Take out the screws and then take out the thing from the box. And that lovely smell of old electronics. Just tell. That just smells like old electronics. Love it. This has got to be a later one, because these, I would have expected like more antique looking components. Anyway, what am I doing? I'm just being dumb. So our line test switch is over here. So I think we should probably put a meter on it and see if it actually does what it's supposed to do. And I'll do that and then tell you the results. Okay, so I've been nosing around for a few minutes. See that? That is an N48 germanium diode. When I put a diode test across it, it just seems to go both ways, like it's leaking like a sieve. I know I need to take it out of circuit to get an accurate check, but I've heard that the selenium and or germanium diodes in these can be stupid. I have checked a lot of resistor values earlier, and that was kind of on my radar. And from what I understand, a normal 4001 diode is just fine. Okay, boys and girls, we're back, and that was a not exciting video because you didn't get to see anything. Over here, for our line voltage set and some other stuff, we come off the 50 volt tap of the transformer. It's represented here by this yellow wire, so there's 50 volts AC coming up here. And this at one point went to a selenium rectifier, which is now sitting in my hand. And these, have a little bit of a voltage drop across them, but the voltage drop we had was pretty severe. Running it through a diode, we should see about 70 volts, and we were getting more like 65. Probably not totally mandatory to change, but a good idea. So that's been replaced with a diode. I put a little terminal strip on where the selenium rectifier one's bolted on. There's a 200, you can see it's blue now, a 270K resistor. The other one was probably fine, but I was having trouble getting readings on it, so I wasn't sure. But the potentiometer here, it's supposed to press in and then you clip it on. Somebody really mashed it through there, and it turned out it was grounding out. So my roughly, 60-ish, 70-ish volts DC was going straight to ground. It was just flopping it. So there's your problem. So it works now, and I was able to test a few tubes. We'll put it back in its chassis and then just kind of take a look at it. Okay, so we're back with the Eico. I've put it back in the case. I do have it working now, and it should be adjusted fairly well. What we're going to do is we're going to get the Savtec tube that we had here, a couple days ago, that we know is on the weak side. There's a little wonk in the needle here. I don't know, somehow that got bent internally. How the world do you bend that? I mean, I don't know, whatever. But we'll turn it on here, and I think our voltage here is about 124, and if I press line adjust, that'll come up, and I want to center this with that right there. I'll center that. Our line voltage is about 124 volts. That seems about right. Okay. I've got this set up to test the second triode of a 12AX7, which will, you have to change the switches for the first and second triode, so it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Plug that in and give it a moment to warm up. On the second triode, we're supposed to check 6, 7, and 8 and make sure the meter does not deflect, but 8, the meter will deflect, and you're supposed to press HK leak to make sure it goes back. So I think that should be glowing. It is glowing, so let's check. There's 6, 7, 8, press leak and it goes back, and then we go back to 6 to test the merit of the tube and see how strong it is, and it is not particularly strong, which is what the Devo had said about it. It wasn't particularly that good. If your line voltage is goofy, as you can see, it's actually coming up a little bit over time. As the filament warms up, it's getting a little better, but that should have deflected significantly faster. Okay, so we know this tube is weak. That's what the orange Devo told us about it. We knew that ahead of time. And here is a tube that the Eico thinks is just fine. The orange does not like it. It's a tongue saw tube. I would have loved to continue using it, but back when we did the 100-watt Vox amp, I tested every one of the tubes, and 2 of the 12AX7s I was told by the tester to replace. They worked, the amp worked, it sounded fine. I really wouldn't have guessed there was a problem with the tubes, but the tube tester said there was a problem with the tubes, so we replaced them because I'm sending this to a customer. I don't want to have to take it back because I screwed up and sent a bad tube. That has happened before, but we'll let that one warm up, and we'll do the same business. 6, 7, 8, leak, back to 6, and of course it's 1, 2, 3 is for the other one when you change the switches to the other triode. And we'll do merit here, and this one obviously comes up to the good range. So yeah, we're fine. So there you go. Our Eico 666 tube tester is now operational. I've got the orange Devo, which you guys have seen me use before. I could argue and complain that the orange takes a few minutes to go through all of its tests, but it's goof-proof. This one I gotta set all the damn levers and then push a bunch of buttons and then make sure I did it right, and if you do it wrong you can blow something up, or if you had the line voltage set to something crazy, or over here you can blow something up. I mean, there's just so many potentials to whiff on one of these. For my common everyday guitar amp tubes, it just makes more sense to use the orange. But for the tubes that the orange can't test, I'm glad to have it. Okay, let's look at our little bit of, here's your bonus treat for
Whilst
today's video. I was picking up the tube tester and PV amplifier that we saw, there was a box of vacuum tubes, and so I looked them over and made the gent a offer on, you know, mystery vacuum tubes. They haven't all been tested and checked out, and they're all probably 40, 50, 60 years old, so they're likely okay, but you never know. So anyway, I was able to get, we have a 12AX7. That's not a Raytheon in there though. That's a Heath by Mullard, Great Britain. That sure looks new, doesn't it? I was surprised to find that one. 12AX7's new old stock are getting kind of hard to find. That was the most interesting one per se. There's also a Westinghouse 6AQ5. You can use that for something. A 50L6 GT, that would be for our RTL1, as well as a 35Z5 GT. These are new. And then we got a box here. We have a new Amperex 12AX7. It's not a Bugle Boy, it's a later one. An RCA 12AY7 and 3 channel mastered brands, 12AT7s. So I don't know what kind of channel master tube actually is, but who really cares, you know, who made it if it's a new 12AT7. And I was able to buy these more affordably than we can buy the current production stuff. So I'm sure some tube junkie's going to look at that getter at the top with the round halo getter and go, I know what that is. But it says 12AT7 820 on it. That doesn't look like, I don't know what that is, but does it really matter? Maybe it's Japanese, maybe it's what, who cares, you know? It's a 12AT7, and if it's in good working order, then a win. So we got ourselves, let's see, we got 5, 7, 9 tubes. Yay! I could have used actually I could have used I already bought 2 new 12AT7s because I was out. And then I was running out of 12AXs, so at least I got 2 of those now. Hopefully they're good. Should we put them in the Eico? No, it's too much work. Have a great day.